try to do another problem. Now we are going to do E825A. It's on page number 487. And this problem is about a product mix. As we discussed in our PowerPoint slides, that sometimes a manufacturing company may produce different type of products and they may feel that some product is not making any profit. So, or they can have limited resource constraint and they need to take decision which product they need to produce and sell more. And if they do like this type of multiple type of products, what type of product will have the best impact on their operating income is the crucial thing. So here we will see how you could identify those constraints and use the concept of contribution margin, and especially the contribution margin concept incorporating your resource constraint idea and how to determine which product will give you the best profit. So let's read problem number E825A. So TradeFast produces two types of exercise treadmills. One is regular and another is deluxe. This exercise craze and related demand in such that TradeFast could use all of its available machine hours for producing these models. So they actually have two types of models. One is deluxe and another is regular, and they have very huge demand. And definitely one of the important factor for producing this machine is the machine hours. And since they have huge demand, they could use all of its available machine hours for producing either of these models. Both of these models are highly demanded and they could spend all of your resource constraint, which is we see here is machine hours, either to produce deluxe or to produce regular, and they will be able to sell that. So here you will see the production information. Sales price. Deluxe sales price is $1,000, where regular is $540, and then they give you the information about their expenses. They subtract all of those expenses. First three expenses are variable, and then the fourth one is fixed manufacturing overhead expense, and then you have another operating expense. So total expense for a deluxe one is $779, and you see if you subtract all these expenses from the sales price, so by producing and selling one deluxe model, the company is making $220 profit. On the other hand, for regular one, by selling one regular model, the company is making $91 operating profit. So apparently it seems that producing and selling regular model looks more profitable. Even if you take their overall sales price and ultimately the expenses per unit for each model, you will see that for the deluxe one, it is making more operating income. Right, so that means that deluxe will be more profitable. Now we need to check if there is any resource constraint, and after incorporating those resource constraint information, which model would be more profitable. Now you have here little information about fixed manufacturing overhead, and this little asterisk which says that allocated on the basis of machine hours. In chapter 3 we learned about the allocation base, right? So when we have some manufacturing overhead and we actually could not determine it, it's not like very direct or traceable like direct material or direct labor, we use one allocation base to determine the overhead cost. And here for this fixed manufacturing overhead cost, their allocation base is machine hours, and this machine hour is used to calculate their overhead. Now if you check here for these fixed manufacturing overhead cost, for the deluxe model it's $80, whereas for the regular model it's $40. That means in terms of machine hour cost, deluxe actually requires double cost, right? So deluxe requires double cost as fixed manufacturing overhead, which is determined by the machine hours, which implies that to produce one deluxe model, it actually requires double machine hours, right? So that means if the if the deluxe model can be produced by using a certain number of machine hours, they could produce double number of regular models, right? Because regular model actually needs half of these deluxe models of machine hours. So for certain number of machine hours, it will actually produce double number of regular models, right? So now we will try to use this information and we will check which model is actually more beneficial or profitable for the company. So we will do again one income statement and we will use the concept of contribution margin. And of course, we will use the concept of this resource constraint, which is machine hours. And we just learned that deluxe actually takes double machine hours. Or for a certain machine hours, you could produce half number of deluxe compared to the regular number. Right, so let's try to use all this information and solve this problem. So we again will do one mini income statement, EA25A, and let's write the name of the company. It's Trade Fast, and we are trying to do product mix analysis, right? And we will do two income statement, mini income statement for two different models. And we actually don't know how many models we are producing, but we have high demand. We can spend all of our resources on either of these models. So right now we have the information for one unit. So we're gonna show this income statement only for one unit. So product mix analysis per unit. Right. Let's do two separate columns, one for the deluxe one, another is for the regular one. And then we will write down all information and we'll try to see the mini income statement by using the contribution margin approach. So our revenue, sales revenue, deluxe, you see from this table, deluxe sales revenue per unit is $1,000, whereas regular sales price or sales revenue is $540. So $540. Now, if you subtract your variable expenses, and you have three variable expenses. If you want, you could do all three together, three manufacturing variable expense, or you could do it separately. Let's do it by taking all this information. We have direct labor. So for the first variable expense, we have direct labor, and you see from this table, direct labor for the regular one, direct labor is $340. So let's subtract 340 for, sorry, it's for the deluxe one. The regular one is $80. So subtract $80. And then we're gonna subtract our I apologize. It's actually direct material, not labor. Now, next line we will do direct labor. Direct labor is given. You see here, deluxe is 82 and regular is 194. So let's subtract our direct labor expense. 82 is for the deluxe one, and for the regular one is 194. Then third expense is variable manufacturing overhead. And here you see for the deluxe one it's 152 and for the regular one it's 76. So I'm subtracting 152 and then I'm subtracting 76. Remember, for this contribution margin approach, we actually subtract all of our variable expenses. So we just now subtracted our variable manufacturing overhead expenses. Now we will subtract our other variable expense, which is our operating expense. Since it's also variable, we'll subtract it to get our contribution margin. So now let's subtract variable operating expense. I'm writing expense. I hope you'll understand. Variable operating expense for the deluxe one is $125 and for the regular one is $59. So let's subtract this deluxe and then 59 is the regular one. So now you can figure out the contribution margin. Contribution margin for both models, right, for the deluxe one. So let's subtract all these operating expenses. 1000 minus 340 minus 82 minus 152 minus 125. Let's do it. Please take your calculator. I'm subtracting by using my calculator and you will find your contribution margin for the deluxe one, and I got it. So what's the contribution margin for the deluxe one? Okay, I got 301 for the deluxe one, and for the regular one, let's check it. 540 minus 80 minus 194 minus 76 minus 59, and I got it's 131. Right, so it seems that deluxe one has higher contribution margin, but we have to think of our resource constraint. If we would like to produce and sell only one model, then our resource constraint is here machine hours, right? Because we will have some certain limited number of machine hours. And our fixed overhead expense is driven or determined by the machine hours. And we just analyze from this little given information that if you have fixed number of hours, whatever the hours is, like 1 hour, 10 hour, 100 hour, 1000 machine hours, the number of deluxe model you will be producing will be half of your regular model. Or whatever the number of deluxe model you will be able to produce using all of your machine hours, you will be able to produce double number of regular model. That means if we spend all of our machine hours, whatever the number of deluxe model will be, regular will be the double, right? So now this information is your contribution margin per unit, right? That means for deluxe one, if you will be able to produce one, for the regular one, you will be able to produce two, double, right? Because the regular one actually requires half of your machine hours. So that means if you could produce one deluxe by using the same machine hour, you could produce two regular, right? That means if I multiply it by 2, then I am getting our contribution margin for the equivalent number of machine hours, right? So I will write it down, contribution margin for equivalent of machine hours. That means for the deluxe one, we will have a contribution margin which is actually $301, right? Whereas by using the same machine hours, we will be able to produce double regular one. That means we can multiply by this contribution margin, and which gives $262, right? So After incorporating the concept of our mashing our constraints and using the concept that we're going to produce double regular model, still we see that deluxe is making more profit. So your decision will be, if you really would like to produce only one model, so produce deluxe only. Okay, so our decision will be produce deluxe model only. Right. If you want to maximize your profit. So that's our decision, and that is from our product mix problem. So we just did E825A. You have another homework like this, so please try to do the homework.